Let's fight. A very good evening, guys. Let's fight. The state of the nation 1 year after. That's the discussion we're having this evening. And we thank you guys for joining us across the diaspora, even at home here in Guyana, and across the diaspora. Let's fight, guys. We're discussing this evening, as we said we would have been on to discuss the state of the nation. Good to see you there, Oswin Walters on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, and all the other folks who are joining us across social media. We're tremendously privileged. We're going to have a couple guests stopping by this evening. We're talking specifically about what's happening at local government, but we are going to touch on some other issues that we think are very important at this hour. So good to have you, Yvonne. I see Yvonne joining us via Twitter, Oswin via YouTube, among the scores of other persons already joining us. Anthony Harris, I see you there. Again, we're discussing the state of the nation. It's not our usual In the Ring program where we have lots of hot topics, but we are going to touch on a couple of issues before we get into that discussion proper on the state of the nation 1 year after. Good to see you, Lizzie Simon, Onesta Wardeen, all the usual suspects. Selena Fraser, good to see you there. Pamela Saturin, good to see you. Sukhchan Sudhari and Mark Allman. Shelley, good to see you as well. Linton Stewart, Grace James, and Shelley DeRidder is with us as well. Brenda Nicholson, Rowena Williams, Siobhan Fraser, Tessa Isaacs, Gravesandi, good to see you, Tessa. All the other folks. Udina, am I calling it right? Udina, fancy surname. Estriado, Udina Estriado, hope I'm calling it right. Myrna Monroe and Diane Gravesandi, Kim King, Orwin Don Cook. Good to see all of you guys. Guys, as you come on this evening, we invite you guys to share the live stream. Let us be the first, as we are on the eve of it, to wish you guys happy emancipation. We're going to see you guys back here tomorrow evening for another such program. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing economic issues. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing economic issues as we continue our discourse on the state of the nation 1 year after. But tonight, we're touching on local government and some other pertinent issues. Again, folks, some very, very important guests are going to be dropping by this evening. And I'm so glad to have each and every one of you as you come on. We invite you guys to share the live stream. Just by way of information as we are on and we're waiting for some more persons to join us. We are looking at coming out of the Guyana Public Service Union this afternoon, a very, very strong press statement condemning the advisor on health today, Minister of Health, Leslie Ramsamy, and comments attributed to him where he's saying that employers should basically force workers to take the vaccine, and the GPSU isn't taking that very lightly at all. GPSU, again, highlighting in the press statement several pieces of legislation, says that workers cannot be held under duress for vaccinations, cannot be held under duress for taking vaccines. And as we get more information on that issue, we are going to have that for you. But again, a very, very strong statement coming out from, again, that is the Ministry of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, rather, with that statement on the vaccination, this move towards mandatory vaccination. And they're very, very concerned about the implications for their workers and the erosion of the workers' rights. They point to, for instance, their fundamental rights being eroded by this push by certain individuals, or in their own words, let me make sure I'm quoting them correctly, some unscrupulous employers who are threatening employees to take the vaccine or alternatively produce a negative result from a COVID-19 test, or the employee will not be able to work. And the GPSU is stepping up their actions there. And I think worst case, this should persist. We're going to see the GPSU heading into protest action and protest and strike action should this continue. And so this is one of the things, folks, that we are looking at this evening, even as we come on. Good to see you, Narine Sigobin and Claudine Squires, Anthony Harris and Pat Noel Williams, Pat C, Noel Williams, Jem Isaacs, Ronita Andrews. Good to see you guys as well. Thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday evening to spend this time with us. Again, we're trusting you guys to share the live stream so that we can get our message out far and wide. All that people need to know that is happening home here in Guyana as we examine the state of the nation 1 year after. So in addition to that piece of information concerning the Guyana Public Service Credit Union and pushing back against this push for persons to get vaccinated, this mandatory vaccination pushed by some individuals within the government. In addition to that, some persons would have pointed out to us just today that they aren't seeing a lot of signage concerning emancipation celebration on behalf of the government. And one of the things that persons would have pointed out was there were some huge signboards when it was the observance of Iduaza, for instance. And what they are charging is that the government, the installed regime, seems to have a focus on some celebration as against all, even when Mr. Ali, the installed president, has been talking about oneness, corridor of unity and ministry of happiness and all of these things. But to make them real and come away from the rhetoric of it, that has been the tremendous challenge of this administration. And so persons are very concerned. They said they saw large signboards, mega signboards throughout the city, especially the city of Georgetown, our national capital city, saying happy Iduaza on behalf of the government of Guyana. And while nothing is wrong with that, there must be equity. There must be equity with all observances of that nature, all national observances. And that has been one of the charge. And persons are asking, what is happening? And rightfully so, what is happening? Is the government being one-sided? Is the government being one-sided? And so that is one of the things we are tracking again tomorrow. Tomorrow, August 1st, is emancipation. And as this afternoon, our folks were in the city scouting around to see what's happening. It seems as though there's a lull where the celebration of emancipation is concerned. And we would remind you folks that it was on May 5th, on Arrival Day, you had Irfan Ali talking about all persons who would have come to Guyana came for betterment. Talking about the contributions of our Indian brothers and sisters coming there from India and their contributions. And then he went on to talk about Africans coming here for betterment. And you and I would know, any elementary follower of history would know that Africans came to this part of the region for under that brutal system of slavery. And so we continue to monitor what the administration is doing as we examine the state of the nation 1 year after. And we are tremendously privileged that hundreds of you have chosen to spend this evening with us, this hour with us as we examine some of these issues. Another issue I want to touch on before we get into our discussion, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we see some an economic package being rolled out now, weeks after these monies were approved in the National Assembly. The farmers have been crying out, and the opposition have been very, very vocal about them getting their just dues, and those persons also who were affected by the flood. And as I said to you guys, tomorrow evening we'll have a fuller economic discussion. But as this has been published, we see them stating, this installed administration, that the announcement of a raft of measures, according to the installed administration, that will bring relief to flood affected farmers and flood affected residents and farmers across the country who suffered losses as a result of the recent heavy rainfalls. Now, it has been weeks upon weeks since the National Assembly, including the opposition, passed a supplementary budget for these persons affected in this manner. And it's only now, I see them announcing here, based on the information I have, that homestead farmers will receive $100,000 each. Kitchen garden farmers will receive $50,000 each. Households, excluding homestead and kitchen garden farmers, will receive $50,000 each. Rice sector will receive 80,000 per acre. Yep, and 65,000 per acre is to be given to rice farmers for rice sowed but lost in the autumn crop. We have autumn, folks, autumn crop. 5,000 per acre will be given to rice farmers for lands that were completely prepared, land that was completely prepared but not sowed, and then 60,000 bag of seed paddy will be made available. And they say here excess of 600 million is to be directed to livestock, subsistence farmers, small farmers, medium farmers, and 500 million via the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ghana Livestock Development Authority will be assisting in the genetic improvement, draining and irrigation works, technical support and extension services with approximate value of 500 million. And folks, again, we say that tomorrow evening we're going to be having a fuller discussion, a much fuller discussion on the economic implications of all of this. And again, the state of the nation economically 1 year after. That's going to be part of our discussion tomorrow evening, emancipation evening. And as we come on this evening, we are discussing local government issues, local government and other issues. But we thought it pertinent, thought the information pertinent enough to bring it to your attention. The GPSU, the Ghana Public Service Union, on the mandatory vaccination issue, the celebration of emancipation and how in the sights of lots of Guyanese, hundreds and thousands of Guyanese, it's not on par with some other celebrations in which the government came out and erected huge signboards. Things seem a lull on this front. And also now these raft of measures according to the installed administration, this raft of measures. Folks, I want to invite some of our colleagues who are joining us for this discussion. I have His Worship, the Mayor of Georgetown, Mayor Ubraj Narine, will be joining us. I have also Joan, but I'm going to ask Joan to pronounce her surname. I don't want to get it wrong at all. I'm going to ask Joan to pronounce her surname for us, and we're going to have some other colleagues who are going to be joining us as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite one of our commissioners at local government. Joan, a very good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Sheridan. Good evening to all viewers. Oh, my name is Joan Romascindo.
Romascindo, excellent.
Romascindo, you're dealing with romance, Sheridan.
Very, 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 very nice to have you. I think this is your first evening in the ring.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Sheridan. Thank you for inviting me to be in the ring because I'm ready to fight.
Good. Let's fight. And I'm happy to have the mayor as well. And Joan, by way of introduction, is one of our commissioners at the Local Government Commission. And we have with us none other, no stranger to the public, His Worship, Mayor Ubraj Narine. Your Worship, a very good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, Sherrod. Thank you again to have me on your program. Good evening to all the viewers. Commissioner Romascindo, a pleasant good evening to you.
Same to you, Mayor Narine.
Great. I want to outline a couple of things to give us the context for our discussion. Several alarming things have happened at the local government level over the last year that we have been keeping our fingers on, and I'm gonna walk through just a couple of them. The list is almost endless. I'm gonna start with regional chairmen and vice chairmen seem to have had a cut in their salaries and stipends. Also, there has been interference in the work of the NDCs. All NDCs, and I think even municipalities, were asked to redo their budgets, in which $1 million was supposed to focus on streetlights and another 1.5 million on roads and other projects. We saw an illegal election at Region 2, the Nile Scotia NDC there. We saw several councillors at Region 5 resigned because of issues that were grave issues at the NDC, the Rosignol Zealot NDC. Luluni community. There was an issue where the Community Development Council elections, people were sidelined by the administration, according to the villagers there, for in support of outsiders. We saw in another instance where the PPP refused to accept the will of the people in an election at Dark Point and Agatash. This is in Region 7. There was the issue of Minister Sukai, who removed the Campbelltown Tushau illegally, from what we know. We can go on to issues in Region 3, some NDCs there that accused the local government minister and, Region 5 councillors for usurping its authority. This is the NDC there at Union in Region 5. And the list goes on and on and on. I can go through several other issues. We saw a no confidence motion being brought against the council, the chair, vice chair, and treasurer at Rose Hall. The list goes on and on. That is what has transpired in local government, almost unprecedented, the amount of issues. I know, Mayor Ubraj, you've had your own issues at your end, but I want to start, ladies first. We'll start with the commissioner, Romascindo. I hope I'm getting that name right.
Romascindo. Okay.
Romascindo.
Yes, Sheridan. I want to give a little synopsis on the function of the Local Government Commission from 2017 to 2020. We all know that the Local Government Commission has come into existence through the APNU AFC, according to the Constitution of Guyana. Now, the commission from 2017, as a former commissioner, now the commission during 2017 to 2020, we dealt with all matters in a fair and transparent manner. The chairman of the commission then, Mr. Mortimer Mingo, made sure that he brought all issues, regardless of the NDC or municipality, to the statutory meeting for discussions. And we debated, and all, as I said before, it was done in a transparent manner. With reference to the present commission, as a commissioner that has knowledge of the former commission, I'm very much disappointed of what is happening now. Things have been done in I would say in the local terms, a nilly-willy fashion. In a nilly-willy fashion, because decisions are made and the commissioners, or I should say all, are not aware of it. There are times only when it comes to the statutory meeting, which is held once every month. During the former commission term, if there is a decision of emergency to be made, the chairman makes a round robin call to all commissioners to hear our views. It's not done like that. Now, decisions are being made, and it's either we are made a commissioner now, commissioners are either made aware of it now or through the news, which it's not principle.
That's definitely not a way to conduct the business of the Local Government Commission. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome Ms. Nicola Trotman, our commissioner at the Local Government Commission as well. Mrs. Trotman, welcome.
Thank you, Sherrod. Good evening, my fellow Ms. Romascindo, Commissioner Romascindo, and Mr. Mayor. Thank you for having me on In the Circle.
Commissioner, go right ahead. You are
yes, Sherrod. At this time, there's so many things that are happening, and issues and decisions are being made. And I'm of the view that it's done from a political point of view, based on the last issue we had dealing with the Georgetown municipality, where decision was made, letters were sent, and then brought to the commission for us to vote for it.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and Commissioner Trotman, we did not take it lightly. We had our discussions on it. It was put to a vote, most obviously because of the components of commissioners. It was passed.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. Nicola, has your experience been the same in terms of what is transpiring at the local government commission?
Yes, Sherrod. I would like to concur with Commissioner Romascindo. It is not a fair and transparent operation at the commission. Letters would go to the commission with issues happening at NDCs and municipalities, and they would be, let me say, filtered as to what will come to us and what they will deal with in the commission without even bringing it to the other commissioners. There's no round robin of any issues that are happening. If an emergency decision needs to be made, there is absolutely no round robin. Between the chairman and the vice chairman, they seem to think that they have the power vested in them to make decisions for the commission. And this is not so. We work for the people of Guyana, and we work in the best interest of the municipalities and the NDCs. That's the mandate that we were given. Irrespective of what party you were elected, you were put on the commission by. We're supposed to work as a body, and that is not happening at all. Deals are made behind the backs, directives are being given, and the chairman, I find that it's a conflict of interest because the chairman is the minister's representative on the commission, and he has been made the chairman of the commission. So you can put two and two together. If the minister's representative is the chairman of the commission, then we know where the directives are coming from. And we are left out. And it's only if we happen to hear, if an aggrieved brings us up to date, sends us correspondence, that we are aware that these meetings and these decisions are being made by the chairman and whomever else, and we are told after the fact. Now, what happened on last Tuesday was appalling. I'm sure that you probably highlighted that issue, but it was absolutely appalling. And they're saying that they had a unanimous vote. They did not have a unanimous vote. It was a majority vote.
Commissioner Trotman, for those persons who are new to the issue, explain what transpired on Thursday. And that's where I want to pull in the mayor for his viewpoint on that situation.
Okay, so would you like me to go first, Sharon? All right. On Tuesday, we had our statutory local government commission meeting at 1:30. The meeting was called to order, went through our regular stuff, and then the chairman would present his report. In presenting his report, the chairman highlighted that he brought to the committee for us to have a vote to ratify his decision that the acting town clerk was not performing adequately and that they wanted to rescind her acting appointment and revert her back to her substantive post. A discussion ensued, and I asked the question, if you are reverting the acting town clerk to her substantive post, who are we going to put to act? We cannot leave the city of Georgetown unmanned and with a vacancy. There is no immediate town clerk that will be appointed, so who are we putting to act? Commissioner Duncan at that point came in and said that that was not tabled for discussion. All that was tabled was whether we agreed that the acting town clerk should be reverted to her substantive post, and therefore no discussion should be entertained on who should act. The chairman agreed, and at that time, I received some correspondence. When I checked the correspondence that I had received, it said that the chairman had issued a letter to the town clerk, as acting town clerk, Ms. Jarek, rescinding her acting appointment and reverting her back to her substantive post of assistant town clerk. So I went back to the meeting immediately and I said, Mr. Chairman, can you stop? Because he was about to call the vote. I said, you've come here this afternoon. You've asked us to support a decision that we revert Ms. Jarrett back to her substantive post for underperformance. And yet you've issued the letter to Ms. Jarrett already.
That's
of
wickedness.
course, at that point, yes, he issued the letter already to Ms. Jarrett. At that, so I said, you're lying to the commission. Of course, he tried to dilly-dally. No, I didn't. I don't know. So I said, Commissioner, I said, Chairman, I have the letter in front of me. And unless somebody has forged the letterhead of the commission, got a hold of your stamp and forged your signature, and I have seen your signature, and what I'm seeing before me is your signature, then this letter came from your office. Then he said, but yes, the letter was written, but I didn't tell them to send it out. I said, Mr. Chairman, you're lying to the commission. You can't sit here and expect to bring a vote for ratification for something you've already executed. That's not right, and it's not legal. And at that point, Commissioner Duncan came in and said, technically I'm right. However, seeing as how it's the same issue, let's go ahead with the vote. So before the vote happened, I made a statement and I asked that it be put verbatim in the minutes. And I said that I did not agree. It is not right. And this is not how you do things. You do not do things behind people's backs and then expect them to support you on it. I can ask for the minutes and have you read. I can't remember verbatim what I said, but in essence, I did not agree with it. Yep. So I don't understand how they would think that they got a unanimous vote when I made the statement that I did not agree with it.
Good. So let me pull in His Worship the Mayor Ubraj Narine, because there seems to be a new acting town clerk at City Hall, and from what we saw recently, who promptly said to the council that she is not under the instruction of the council, which is quite strange and seems contrary to the legislation that governs the council. Mr. Mayor?
I shared. Yes, you're absolutely right. I received that letter on the 27th of July, 2021 at 2:11 p.m. Appointment interim town clerk. I wrote a letter to Mr. Faber asking him for the minutes of this meeting for further guidance at the council. Mr. Faber never responded to that letter. And I do have a next letter which I will send off on Tuesday morning after carefully examine the Municipal and District Council Act 2801 found that there is no provision in the fact or law for such position, hence render is unlawful, null and void, and the council view this action is attempt to usurp the function of the council. There's no in the 2801 stated that you must have an interim town clerk. It's state of a town clerk position. And this you have an appointment letter of interim town clerk. Now, my understanding with the commissioner then, which was headed by Mr. Mingo, Mr. Mingo always said to us, in his view of the laws, that the council make recommendation. Right. The commissioner will investigate that recommendation of the council
and ratify it,
if so they find it fit for the individual to act or to fill the vacancy. But you have a commissioner now and the chairman. I mean, I use commissioners. The chairman of the local government commission who is Mr. Julius Faber, a disrespectful man, a man that who do not cares for the Georgetown City Council, who not cares for the city of Georgetown, who lives in Region 3, who don't have any morality, who had corrupt Region 3 for over 15 years, wanted to do the same in the city of Georgetown. And let me speak as the mayor of Georgetown. Mr. Duncan, who I believe is a it's he's a political gambler, right? A political gambler. And Mr. Duncan will say something to you now and say something else after. We will not recognize this town clerk, Mr. Sherry Duncan, and viewers. We will not give her that respect. Miss Sherry Jerrick was doing a fantastic job. Let the commissioner has the authority to investigate when Miss Sherry Jerrick has started to act to now and see the works that this council put in of policies. Sherry Jerrick is the only town clerk that signed about 6 policies, and myself as mayor, that passed at the level of the council with majority votes. Check the record of the council. And I will say this without fear or favor. That is the only officer who this council can see fit to act as town clerk until further examination for the town clerk secretariat office have been put forward. Miss Sherry Jerrick had done tremendous good at that council. You bring a interim town clerk, which the lad do not cater for, to install on the city council. We will not accept that, Sherrod. We will not accept that. We will not recognize her. We will not show her the respect, and it will go down in a battle between the council and the interim installed PPP town clerk.
Yeah, that's right.
Sherrod, let me add here that.
Well, I intend to bring you back into the discussion because I wanted to understand while you make your intervention, is Miss Candace Nelson, was that appointment ratified by the commission?
No, Cheryl, that's exactly what I was coming to. Right. Remember, I raised the question about who would be acting, and Mr. Duncan said that was not tabled, and so it was not up for discussion. So after the meeting, I then found further correspondence saying at the same time that the letter was sent rescinding Ms. Jerrick's acting position, Ms. Nelson was offered, was given the position of interim town clerk. And this was written on behalf of the commission. It was never brought to the commission. It was never ratified by the commission. It was not even discussed at the commission. So I don't know on whose behalf the chairman is writing, but it certainly is not the commission, at least not this commissioner. I did not ratify it. I did not agree with it. I did not even discuss it or vote for it. So that letter is a lie because it was never at no point, and Ms. Romascindo, I think, can bear me out here, ever discussed and ratified by the commission at no point in time. Yes. So I don't know on whose strength she's operating as the interim town clerk.
Commissioner Romascindo?
Yes, Sherrod. Now, I support what Commissioner Trotman said. Now, I want to go back a little to say that I asked the chairman also at the meeting, how is it? Can you bring a letter for us to vote that you have already sent? That's not right. There is also a 2 or 3 other letters. The one where they said they acknowledged the documents that Ms. Jerrick submitted. We have not seen that letter until the one that Ms. Trotman sent to me, along with the same appointment of the interim Ms. Nelson. We have not seen, we have not discussed that. So I want to support the mayor and encourage it not to acknowledge it because the commission did not make no decision where that is concerned. And it's wrong. It's putting us in the red as far as I'm concerned as commissioners.
Also, Sharon, one of the letters that was sent to Ms. Jarek, because Ms. Jarek received two correspondence. The first one was they acknowledged receipt through her lawyer, her reply to a letter asking, which the commission had written asking to show just cause why disciplinary action should not be brought against her for a asset registry that she was supposed to submit a while back. And in her response to that letter, Ms. Jarek produced the asset registry. What we were told was that the commission received a 30-page document. We never saw the 30-page document, but at no point was it ever mentioned that Ms. Jarek submitted the asset registry. Also, in that same letter, they said that no further disciplinary action would be taken on. No disciplinary action would be taken against her. So if you're not taking any disciplinary action against her, you have that in writing. How can you at the same time be reverting her to her substantive post? That is taking disciplinary action against her. So I don't know who is telling the commission. They are contradicting themselves. And they're writing on behalf of the commission, which makes it look as though we're complicit with this duplicitous, unlawful acts that they're doing. And I am not. I want it to be known that I am not a part of it under no circumstances.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have joining us Member of Parliament and Opposition Chief Whip, Mr. Ganesh Mahipaul, who is also our Shadow Minister for Local Government. And welcome, Mr. Mahipaul, firstly.
Sharon, could I say before Mr. Ganesh say something, could I go a little more on what Ms. Trotman said?
Go right ahead.
I looked at the letter. And the letters were signed by the chairman. Whereas we know that the secretary is the person who's supposed to be signing correspondence to go out to the NDCs and municipalities. The chairman signs document to go to the political parties. That's how I know. So it's really embarrassing.
The chairman is not an executive chairman. He was an elected chairman. He was a selected chairman. He's not an executive chairman that he has rights to write on behalf of the commission. He doesn't have that right.
But the secretary, good administration would dictate that you are informing the commissioners as to what is happening, and you're not surprising them by them having to open the news, open the newspaper, read on Facebook or someplace else what is happening in their own commission. That seems strange to me.
It would seem strange, Sharon, but that is a daily occurrence at the local government commission. That is a daily occurrence.
1 year after. Interesting. MP Ganesh Mahipaul, we are examining this specific development at City Hall, but also we're talking about largely what has transpired in local government over the last year. And you know some of it acutely, having yourself suffered at the hands of the minister, the installed minister of local government. We saw 8 regional executive officers fired for no reason. We saw RDCs, NDCs, municipalities punished by starving them of funds. We saw them trying to dictate how even the little funds that they were given were spent. We saw, for instance, the National Conference of Local Government, local democratic organ, that has never been held under this administration. No funding for the Ghana Association of Municipalities. And then we see the development of these community development councils parallel to the NDCs and RDCs. A lot of confusion at that level. We see that even the permanent secretary, persons got lots of issues with this permanent secretary at the local government, the Ministry of Local Government. Ganesh, what are your thoughts?
All right, good night to you. I noticed Mayor Ubraj Narine was on earlier, and let me say also good night to Miss Joan Romascindo and Miss Nicola Trotman. I had the pleasure of working with Miss Trotman, and I know that she has talent in the field of understanding how these commissions and boards and so on, how they function. And I want to first of all say that the work that is currently ongoing at the Local Government Commission in terms of the actions of Julius Faber is nothing else but the work of Dharamlal at best. These are all the actions of Nigel Dharamlal. We have to remember how is it that this Local Government Commission came into being. And Julius Faber was a direct nominee of Nigel Dharamlal. So Nigel Dharamlal had to express confidence in an individual to place them on the commission. And he thought it best to express that confidence in Julius Faber. So one would expect that Faber's action is nothing else but a directive coming from Nigel Dharamlal. And it is very unfortunate that such a big man who has experience as regional chairman of Region number 3, he was the former regional chairman of Region 3, he knew that the Regional Democratic Council, the authority is not vested in the regional chairman, it is vested in the council, and the chairman does nothing else but chair the council meetings and ensure that it is run smoothly so that decisions taken by the council is enforced. That is his job, and enforced in the way whereby the clerk of council carries out the duties of the council. And what is supposed to happen at the Local Government Commission is nothing different. The chairman of the Local Government Commission has a responsibility to hold meetings of the commission, and decisions must be taken by the commission. And when decisions are taken by the commission, the secretary to the commission is expected to execute those decisions. The chairman is expected to remind the secretary of what he has to do. And all the reminders that go to the secretary must come from the chairman on behalf of the council, of the commission. But the decision must be that of the commission. The chairman does not have executive authority to make no decision. No decision he does not hold executive authority to make. It is the decision of the commission, and that commission constitutes commissioners, and all the commissioners are equal, with the chairman being the first, followed by the others. And the chairman being the first is only to satisfy that ceremonial notification that he chairs the committee. He ensures that there isn't any ups and downs. It is, the meeting is run smoothly, and the mayor of Georgetown understands this because he also chairs a committee. He chairs the councillors of region of Georgetown, and he knows that there's a reason why you have statutory meetings of the mayor and city council. If the mayor had executive authority, then there would have been no reason for us to have councillors on the mayor and city council of Georgetown. Similarly, if the chairman of the commission had executive authority, there would be no reason for people like Nicola Trotman and Joan Romascindo to be sitting there. There will be nothing else but rubber stamp. But our constitution does not envisage giving one person of a commission that amount of authority. The authority in terms of the administrative management of the commission lies in the hands of the secretary of the commission. And in this case, unfortunately, it is Nicolai Price. And Nicolai Price has a track record of making and taking decisions that were not ratified by a commission. So this we have to look at this from the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is the PPP at work, Dharamlal at work, and their cantankerous behavior of centralizing authority is what we are seeing now. They are not allowing the local system to work. They don't believe in decentralization. They believe in hogging all the authority for themselves. And in so doing, it has catastrophic measures that are coming and destruction that is coming to the local government system. Empowering people is not a trait of the PPP. Emancipating people is not a trait of the PPP. They believe in control freakism. They believe in all under their umbrella. And that is going to cause massive destruction of a growing democracy, massive destruction of a country that is fighting for survival, massive destruction of a country that is poised for rapid takeoff in this economy, this oil-rich economy. But we are not, as a people, going to enjoy the confidence of our government and system because of their behavior, the People's Progressive Party behavior. Their behavior is one to be ashamed of. As a people, we must call them out. We must single them out for what they're doing to our democracy, to what they're doing to our structures, to what they're doing to our layers of governance, that being the local government system here in particular, and what they are doing to our people on the ground, where they're depriving them the opportunity to charter a course for themselves in the communities. Local governance, local governance is all about empowering the people. And empowering the people requires us allowing them to make decisions for themselves. That is why we have chapter 2802. That is why we have chapter 2803. That is why we have chapter 2801 and 2809. These are laws enacted by a country that recognizes democracy. But what we have here is a walking dictatorship, a dictatorship that expects to thrive. But in today's society, dictatorship is not permitted. There are some advice that we will render to the local government commissioners, that is to say, Joan Romascindo, Nicola Trotman, and the others who are willing to take the advice. There are advices that we will tender to the Mayor and City Council of Georgetown, but I wish not to elaborate on that on your program at this point in time, Mr. Duncan. But I want your viewers to know that the opposition is paying close attention to this. The opposition office is recognizing this dictatorship as it is erupting among us. And we want to say as an opposition that as we emancipate ourselves in this context, we will survive it because we have a functioning system, and we will ensure that we exhaust all the options at our disposal to bring justice in this matter. It is a travesty, it is a shameful act, it is dictatorial, it is malevolent, it is wicked, and it is Dharamlal. I say that with confidence.
Yep. And starting with the mayor and then Commissioner Romascindo, Ganesh talked about looking at the broader picture, and one of the other issues of this dictatorship that we are seeing. And one of the things we see under dictatorship is the suppression of the will of the people. And it seems as though that is happening here at various levels, even on the commission in which Ms. Trotman and Ms. Romascindo sit. The will of the people as represented by them is being stifled by decisions being made by the chairman of the commission. We see on the NDCs like Nile Koja and Agatash, the CDC there, where the government don't like the people that are elected by the people. and so they quash the elections and try to install their own people. And that has been happening at several NDCs and RDCs and so forth. So we see this thing of the suppression of the will of the people. And I think to some extent, this is what is happening at City Hall as well, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Duncan. Ganesh has said it all. And I like to bring this to your attention too. I was made to understand through the grapevine that the reason why they tried to place this young lady there, this young lady canceled one of our committee meeting that we supposed to open the tender document for administration building, which is now on hold. She has no authority to cancel the meeting. Only the chair of the committee has that authority according to the 28-1. She canceled it, instruct the deputy town clerk not to attend. Through the grapevine, we heard that also the tender for the city constabulary training center was there for opening that day. We heard it through the grapevine that the 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 junior minister of local government, um, Minister Anand Prasad, who has an interest, personal interest in this property, had wanted this property for himself, right?
Wow.
So all of that is coming out now, where he called her and instructed her to get this done. And that's why I will maintain that the council will not recognize this young lady. We will not respect her as the town clerk, and we will fight this battle at the court level and the council level. We will not have meetings, Sherrod, and you know the business of the council, the business of the people of the city will come to a chaos because we intend not to hold any statutory as the chair of the council. I have possession of the mayor's. I'm elected by the people and I will represent the people. We will not hold any meeting. The city may go to a chaos in terms of many ways until the local government chairman rescind his position on this letter and have a consensus with the council. I wrote this chairman, Mr. Julius Favor, and his response to me that he cannot reach with me at all, not even to deal with this matter. I
Wow.
think he is afraid of me. I don't know, but I am challenging him, Sherrod, and commissioners. I want him to know that as mayor of Georgetown, I'm challenging him for a debate, a national debate on the Local Government Act. I am not a liar. I have a I have a clear view of the laws because today in Starbucks News make a mess of him. I I feel pity of him because he said that the act give him the authority, but the news, Starbucks News quoted and said they have a copy of the act, they read it, and there's nothing of such that what Mr. Julius Faber claimed that he
Yeah.
has the authority. It's shameful. It's a disgrace that what we are facing at the level of the city council with the chairman of the local government commission and the ministry of regional development and the local government ministry, which headed by Dharmlal.
Rightfully said. Commissioner Romascindo.
Yes, Sherrod. You spoke about issues in the NDCs. Now, remember the former commission lifespan was in October. It was dissolved in October 2020. Then it came back in April 2021. At our first meeting, when we had the meeting to elect the chairman, which we didn't support, our commissioners didn't support, we abstained. At the end of that meeting, I asked for an update of activities of appointment, dismissal that took place, that the secretary apparently did on his own during that time. Until today, I have not received. I asked again at the last meeting. They said they would have he said he would have submitted it. I haven't seen it until now. It's really disappointing on the way things are going there. You had dismissal of some of the staff, which the commissioners had no input. The commissioners had an input in interviewing them. Yes, and they were appointed, but we only heard about these things.
Yep, interesting. Commissioner Trotman. Let me unmute you.
Hi, Sharon.
Right ahead.
Sharon, you know what is sad? We at the commission are supposed to be the body that helps to solve, to set the example of how issues are to be dealt with at the municipalities and the NDCs. We're there to be the scales of balance to ensure that whatever issues the municipalities and the NDCs have, that they're handled in a fair, transparent manner, and that a fair decision is brought about at the end of it. And look at the example that we are setting. We are working covertly, deliberately leaving people out of decisions, making unilateral decisions that you don't have the authority to make. And worse than that, you are deceiving your commissioners as to what is actually happening. It is not an environment that will foster any kind of working relationship, which is what the chairman said at the beginning, that we're here to work together and we will. Nothing of the kind. Absolutely nothing of the kind.
They're good with that.
And so it's, it's sad because these are supposed to be the guardians of democracy? That's what they call themselves. Just a year ago, the guardians of democracy. This is how you guard democracy, by breaking it into pieces. I would like the youngest people to understand. And so, people need to understand. They need to wake up and see what is happening. It is unacceptable. And Mr. Mayor, I am telling you now, you have my support. I'm willing to work with the City Council. We will work to make sure that there's a amicable resolve to this issue. But Ms. Candace Nelson is not an appointed interim town clerk from the commission. Not at all.
Very well. Specifically to Ganesh, and then I'll take your thoughts, panel, to the people of this country as to where we are 1 year after this installed administration. Are we having local government elections this year, or are we heading back to the days where you had a 20-year hiatus of local government election?
Well, from all indications of what is happening at the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, the ministers there, the one that seems to want private property and the one that seems to only want to give his family contracts, it only seems as though they are focused on personal aggrandizement. They're focusing on personal gains through fraudulent means. Unfortunately, that seems to be their actions, and they are not focused on the work of the ministry. And that is very, very unfortunate for our people. From all indications, I don't believe that we will be having local government elections this year, and I don't believe we're going to have it anytime soon, unless the people of this country sound their voice in unison. Unless the people demand what is correct and what is necessary for our upliftment, this regime will not listen. It calls for more than me, more than you, more than Joan, more than Nicola, more than Ubraj. It calls for us to do what we have to do to ensure that we get what we have to get. We cannot afford to sit down and expect change for the better. Those who are enjoying change, those who are enjoying freedom, those who are enjoying a working democracy, it didn't come overnight, nor did it come from us just talking on these programs. It came after hard work. It came after fights, whether it is battles in the media, whether it is battles on the ground, whether it is battles here and there. It came through intense and immense fight or struggle. We have to fight for what is right so that our offsprings can smile and say, my mama or my papa or my granddad or my grandma fought for this, and that is why I am enjoying it. We were on a trajectory in 2015 that could have seen massive improvement in our democracy for the bettering of all Guyanese. It was trampled upon by external forces, geopolitics, and persons who had personal interests in what was happening in our country. When an ambassador can say that this election is bigger than Guyana, that alone tells you that these people were installed for a particular purpose. And we have to take cognizance of that fact and recognize that the struggle must continue, has to continue. And I am going to say to the mayor, do not give up the fight. Do not give up the fight, my brother. As much as we can stand with you, we will stand with you. But I'm going to further say, Comrade Duncan, with your permission, if I was mayor of Georgetown, Candace Nelson could have never sat in the town clerk's office. And you know, Sherrod, that if you were mayor, Candace Nelson would not have been sitting there in the town clerk's chair either, unless an approved instrument from the local government commission comes, and not a fraudulent one that was concocted by Julius Faber, but one that is signed by the chief executive officer of the commission or from the secretary of the commission. And in this instance, Nikolai Price.
Yeah.
In this instance, Nikolai Price, who holds the stamp or the print of the commission. So I am saying to you, Comrade Mayor, that what has to be done must be done. And further guidance and advice will be provided at the right forum. But for now, my brother, hold this line of battle. You know, it is very difficult when you're a spiritual leader and a human being to face these kinds of atrocities, to face these kinds of bombardment, to face these kinds of evil. It is very, very, sometimes you got to really know how to tame yourself, Comrade Mayor. And I'm going to say, Pandit Ubraj, you really just got to know how to tame yourself. I can only imagine being in your foot or being in your steps. I can only imagine it. And I don't want to, because if I have to, I may sin my soul every day. But I can assure you that you have our support, my brother. Continue to do the good work you are doing. Continue to do what is necessary, and that is to ground with your people, ground with our people, ground with Guyana. I want to also respectfully say to Commissioner Joan Romascindo and Nicola Trotman, you guys are fighting with a demon. I was Julius Faber's neighbor for 5 years, and there is nobody more hypocritical and wicked I've ever come across than Julius Faber. And I say that without any fear of contradiction. And as women, it is very, very sad that you have to, at this time, in this year, this age, this era, still as women, have to fight demons like those. But hold the battle, comrade. Hold the battle. Link your arms in unity, and we will see the light at the end of the tunnel sooner rather than later.
Commissioner Romascindo, very well said, MP Ganesh Mahipaul. Commissioner Romascindo, what are your final thoughts? 1 year after, what are your thoughts to the Guyanese people, starting with you?
Yes, Sharon. Thank you, Ganesh, for your encouragement. And I would like to tell the mayor also that we're in support of him. What I want to tell the NDCs and the municipalities, based on how things is going, it's like I had advised two persons already. If you're sending a letter of complaint to the commission, CC it to all the commissioners. Because from the time I'm there, we have not really seen any correspondence coming from none of the NDCs. Now they have to work in that line right now because we are seeing everything is being done in a political motivated attitude. Yeah.
Thanks very much for that intervention. Commissioner Trotman, your thoughts on the Guyanese people 1 year after? Commissioner Trotman, you might need to unmute your mic. I'm trying from my end, but I'm not.
Sorry, Sharon. Yes.
Right there.
1 year later, and we have regressed in Guyana. The feeling of hopelessness and despair has invaded people's lives. We feel there's no sense, there's no sun on any horizon. You look to the north, you look to the south, you look to the east, you look to the west, all you see is gloom and doom. Cost of living has gone through the roof. Nothing from the government. We've gone through an entire year of COVID. Nothing from the government. They've brought absolutely no relief to any of the Guyanese people who work here, who live here, who've been suffered. The thousands of Guyanese who have lost their jobs because of the government. And there's no relief in sight. Absolutely none. To the NDCs and the municipalities, I would love to endorse what Commissioner Romascindo said. You need to copy us, reach out to us about the issues that you're having. The commission is not informing us. They're making their unilateral decisions, getting back to you, and we are totally unaware of it. It is not a commission that is working in the best interest of the people of Guyana. It's not working in the best interest of the NDCs and municipalities that have been elected by the people of Guyana. They're on a mission. They want to take away the will of the people, and they want to institute and to install what they think should be there. We cannot allow it to happen. You have to reach out to us. Let us know what is happening in your NDCs and your municipalities so that we can help you to fight your fight, to get the just and right decisions that you deserve. I'm here. You can reach out to me. Sharon has my number, and I'm willing to share my email addresses. Reach out to us. We want to know what is happening. The commission is not telling us what is happening.
Very well. Mr. Mayor, your thoughts to the Guyanese people 1 year after?
It's terrible. It's a disaster. We're heading back to the dark days of this country and the city. And we have much more to see with this Ali's government. A president and ministers, vice president, who don't have the interest of the people, but their pockets, their friends and family. We will see much more, Sherrod, and colleagues and viewers. And I want to say this much to the commissioners tonight, that they're going to be a meeting on Tuesday morning, that the Secretariat summons Ms. Candace, the Deputy Town Clerk, and the Acting Chief Constable at the Local Government Commission. I don't know for what. These officers, some of them have called me expressing that the minister called them and threatened them to fire them. I forget to make mention of that. If they do not listen to the young lady. Right? That is how it gone to this extension now.
What a year.
Right? So all of these are happening, and victimization will continue. And that's why we will not recognize the installed PPP town clerk, interim town clerk. We will not recognize her. And I want to share this with you that handing over, she has to come to me, which she failed to. I saw she sent me an email. I would not accept any letter from her. I will not respond to any letter from her because I do not recognize her. I do not have no respect for her, right? So I, as mayor, will stand my grounds. Mr. Faber, who want to be a dictator, he need to get a grip of himself and let the commissioner and the entire body do the work in the right way. The Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, he is out of order every single god day. A man who's supposed to try to put legislation and system in place, I got donate with the machine, one with the machine here, one with cow biting you do. And he want to do cow biting in the city too. Right? I have no regards
We
for
have
the
an
PPP ministers. None of them.
well said. MP Mahipaul, the final word goes to you.
Comrade Duncan, Comrade Mayor, and Comrade Commissioners, this has been the most disastrous year in our political history as a country. It is the year where we have lost more people than ever before in a manner that was fully the work of the PPP. It is their actions that have caused us as a country to have lost over 500 and more people.
Yeah.
If they had focused
MP Mahipaul, on that note, by way of breaking news, we wish to report, very sadly, there have been 6 new COVID deaths as of today. 6 new COVID deaths and 65 new confirmed cases. 6 COVID deaths.
Six new COVID deaths. 6 new COVID deaths. That is 6 families that are mourning the loss of their loved ones. That is six families that are right now traumatized and cannot be comforted because the government continues to not pay attention to this COVID pandemic. We have circulating in the world the Lambda, the Alpha, the Delta, all the different types of COVID strains, all the variants. And these people still seem not to care. They had cricket match today at the Providence Stadium, and they were so selective in how people were sitting, but yet installed ministers were allowed to sit next to each other and close in proximity with others. Hypocritical, duplicitous are the best of words that one can find to describe these notorious people. Their actions have been wicked. They have no intention to care for the people of this country. Their actions have been focused on enriching themselves and not strengthening the people from the ground. People are poorer than what they were 1 year ago. People are weaker than what they were 1 year ago. People are demoralized more than what they were 1 year ago. Irfan Ali should be ashamed of himself to know that he has taken the reins of power and has done nothing that can cause people to be proud. $25,000 COVID cash grant, but cost of living is sky high. Today at the gas station, fuel price is $217 per liter of fuel gasoline. Everything in the stores have gone up. Everything. People are struggling. We saw a man stealing a box of Chinese food. We saw another stealing a rug on the fence that people put out to dry.
Yeah, not in primary school, sausage and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, There are so many strange things that are happening in our country under this regime. And it is only because of the type of life that people are having right now. It is hardship, hardship, punishment, punishment. It is sad. People are crying. Their children are weeping. We are in trouble as a nation. And I want to tell your viewers, Sherrod, I want to tell your viewers that change comes to those who fight for it. Change comes to those who stand up against dictatorship. Change comes to those who want it. And joining in the ring is good. Being on the other programs, it is good. But there are other actions that are necessary. And I hope that when the time comes, we will all be singing from the same hymn book. We will all be singing the same song. And we all will be rallying around that change that is desperately needed. And the return of the coalition will be the light that everyone is hoping for. But it can only happen once everyone puts their hands on deck. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks very much for that very powerful intervention at the end there, and we're going to let that be the last word, as we say. Folks, I want to thank you guys for joining me this evening. MP Ganesh Mahipaul, Member of Parliament, His Worship the Mayor of Georgetown, Ubraj Narine, and commissioners at the Local Government Commission, Joan Romascindo and Nicola Trotman. Guys, thank you all for a very, very robust discussion this evening.
Thank you for having
Thank you, Sherrod, for having us.
Thank you, Sherrod, for having us.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great evening.
Everyone. Good night.
Great.
Good night, my friends. Good night.
And there you have it. There you have it. I want to again thank my guest, Mr. Ganesh Mahipaul, Member of Parliament and discharging the function of Opposition Chief Whip this evening, well, at this time. And also we have the Mayor of Georgetown, the national capital city, Mr. Ubraj Narine, and the commissioners there at the Local Government Commission, Joan Romascindo and Nicola Trotman. We really want to thank them for their time. And guys, I want to thank you as well for spending this time with us. These are the issues that are pervasive at the local government level, in addition to all of those other issues we covered at the beginning of our program. And as I said there at the end, coming across the wires, breaking across the wires this evening, breaking news, 6 new COVID deaths, and 65 new confirmed cases as the government moves forward to reopen the economy. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we're talking money. Tomorrow is Money Talk. We're talking about the economy. So please join us tomorrow evening. Thanks for joining us, guys. Continue to social distance, wear your mask, sanitize, and practice all the other COVID protocols that are in place for your health and your safety and that of your friends and your loved ones. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for joining, and happy emancipation. Even if them put up no big billboards saying happy emancipation on behalf of the government of Guyana, happy emancipation. Stay safe.